There we are. Good evening. TK here, checking in, Beyond Clarity. It's been, what, a few months now since I've done a live stream, especially on IMC TV. And all these thoughts are going in my head. Like, for one, it's too dark out. It's late. I can't do this in my home. It's not even my home. It's my dad's home that I'm actually staying in right now and helping him. And he's sleeping. And no matter where you are in the house, if someone else is in it, you can hear what they're doing. Should I sit in my car and do this? Oh, I'm feeling antsy. I want to move around. Okay, I'm just gonna give some excuse to Anbu and cancel again, like I did last Sunday when I was supposed to go live. Even though I forgot the password to get into IMC TV, and that was a legitimate excuse, and I did communicate with Anbu like I was supposed to. Deep down, I didn't want to go live. What am I going to say? What are people going to think of me? I'm going to do this instead, and then I'll do it later. Keep pushing it off, and before you know it, it's too late. And then you get an ultimatum, possibly a second chance, because there will be no third chances, to do what you said you were going to do. And then you ask yourself, why am I doing this? And then you look back on why you started, and you're like, oh shit. I don't know if I can swear in here or not, but you know what? It doesn't matter because the right person's going to find this. And your fellow IMC Nation brother, Kenny Simmons, in a Zoom class that you two created together called Transmutation Ministry, reminds you why you started. And you know what? I didn't want to go live today either, but I had to. Why? Because I don't want to let my fellow IMC Nation brother down, who's been showing up the last few months when I didn't want to, not even communicate with him or tell him why. And just thinking like, okay, my neighborhood is probably sleeping right now. And what are they going to think of me if I come down the street and they see me talking to my phone? But you know what? I'm doing this for the right reason. So this live, it might be 10 minutes, it might be an hour. We'll see. And if you're used to looking at someone when they're talking on YouTube, this isn't going to be the video for you. If you're like me and normally listen and not even looking at your screen, this would be the perfect video for you, especially when you're driving. So before we begin, I have to remind myself to go over some ground rules. Uh, this is for adults only. If you have a child with you, make sure that they are prepared to learn something that they normally wouldn't learn in school. And I may share some things that only adults should know, 18 and up. What else? Don't break the laws of the land that you live in. This video is for entertainment purposes only. I like to call it edutainment. Why do I say that? It's just CYA, cover your backside, because there's always that one person, oh, you said this, and they take it the wrong way. And if I can give you an example, one of the many times that I attempted to go into university, um, my English teacher, oh, it was creative writing or some type of English class. He helped publish a cookbook, you know, and oh my God, they got sued because in the cookbook it said, this is what happened. A woman put an unopened can of condensed milk in a crock pot. Guess what happened? It exploded on her. Why was she able to sue the cookbook company? because in it says put a can of condensed milk in the crock pot. It didn't say can and pour it in. And there's always that one person, you know. So there's an example. I hope that helps. Uh, AZD'z class, J rid of AZD, IMC Nation, J rid of Captain Chris. Uh, what was I just about to say? Alpha Academy. AZD goes live every day at 10 a.m. Pacific time. He teaches two, sometimes three times a day, and he always gives his rules in the beforehand because it's 18 and up and for men only. And why is that? Well, I don't know about you, but when I'm around groups of men and women, there's some things I normally don't say if I was just around men, and especially children. So there you go. And I ended up finding out the hard way after trying the lone wolf route that it is important to be in a tribe, the right tribe, community. And I was in several different communities, but there's just something missing. You know, maybe I wasn't passionate about what I was learning or trying to do, or deep down there were some things that I needed to fix inside before I got in business, you know, entrepreneurship. Landmark is an example. Landmark Forum, personal professional development. That opened me up to a whole new world. And I was actually watching AZD videos for free live on YouTube and Instagram. And this is a couple of years in the making. But the thing about the landmark leaders, oh my God, such powerful people, life changing, you know, there's something missing. And what was that? Were they really living the life that they wanted to live? Were they really fulfilled? I mean, look at people that you admire, leaders, coaches, I mean, teachers, especially in school, your boss, manager. Okay, sure, they may be good at their job. Are they good teaching? Are they good coaching? But how's their lifestyle? You know, are they healthy? Are they fulfilled in their relationship, marriage? How are they with their kids? And those type of things I factored in, especially when I was in a Air Force National Guard, you know, serving 1 week in a month, 2 weeks a year. Happy Veterans Day, by the way. Thank you all those veterans for your service, and you're welcome. A former supervisor of mine would kind of get on me for, you know, not settling down and getting a stable job, although it is important, you know, it's like, but to me, I wanted to get a job that I was actually passionate about, where it doesn't even feel like a job. Wasn't married with kids like him, you know, and I was just thinking like, okay, I think that's great, and thank you if you're looking out for me. But why are you really telling me this? Like, are you really happy? And thank God I didn't listen to him. My friends who are also hopefully looking out for me, some family members, relatives, society, you know, thinking that there's something wrong with me because I'm not settled down, married with kids yet. And then looking at like, okay, what is the divorce rate? Are you, you know, my friends, family who are married with kids, are you really happy? And thank you to my friend who actually opened me. He didn't tell me verbatim, but he's pretty much like, I am miserable, you know. Don't do it. Oh, you're gonna meet the right one day, you know. You'll see. Okay, I'm gonna wait, you know. Thank God that I did. I'm gonna give myself a pat on the back that my father never gave me. Good Tony. Why? Because oh man, this can go so many ways. And uh, you know, forgive me for bouncing around while there's people in the waiting room. Okay, TXL, Silver and Outlaw, cool, cool. Host Brothers, sorry if you guys were waiting. It's crazy how after 3 months, you know, you forget how to do things. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Give a thumbs up or say yes. Okay, cool. Host Brother. All right, Host Phoenix Walker, XL Laura. Welcome to Beyond Clarity. 11:11 over here in Wisconsin. Make a wish. And those are signs too. That's eventually things I'm going to get into where I thought it was just woo woo, and I just didn't understand it. And then what do you know? I'm driving on my way to work to drop off some equipment today, and I see this bird that I don't think I've ever seen before. Like I've seen pictures of it and heard about it, but I'm looking and it's soaring. I'm like, oh my God, is that a bald eagle? And the way it was flying, it was kind of like flying with me, maybe just a couple hundred yards. And I'm like, oh, okay, okay. And I looked up what bald eagle means when you see one, and I can't even tell you right now because I forgot, but I still have it. But those are just signs, I say pay attention to. Okay, and I totally forgot what I was saying before I saw you guys were waiting in the waiting room. But this topic tonight is remember why you started because I stopped showing up. I went through some things, and oh man, a friend died on my birthday. That was one of them, and I was just like, what was crazy is that I talked to him just a couple days before it happened, and there was no sign there. And we made plans, he's in the band. I'm getting into DJing now and throwing shows, electronic dance music for you younger generation that don't really know what techno rave music is. And we were going to do a show together and promoting, sobriety because he went through it, I went through it, and we were going to, pass it on. And then he does that. And I'm like, oh my God, what the hell? Dark night of the soul, whatever you want to call it, and normally the summertime is when I am at my happiest because up in Wisconsin, well, you know how the cold winters are and they just go on and on. And that's what I was going through. And then when it's time for me to go live, I just come up with excuses. I wouldn't even communicate with Anbu, and I just let it go. Just like some other IMC Nation brothers that were actually removed from the IMC TV group. And I remember having a conversation with one of them because I noticed he stopped going live before I stopped. And I asked him, like, what's up, man? And he's like, oh, I'm going through this. And I was like, okay, I get it. And I didn't really fully get it until I went through it. And sure enough. So one thing that AZD does before each Alpha Academy when he goes live is that he'll sit there with his eyes closed and meditate. And he'll listen to a song that probably just gets him in the mindset, the flow state. And I've seen him do this before class for a few years now. And you know what's crazy? I've never done it before I went live. And I was just thinking, like, why am I feeling this way? Why am I not wanting to do this? And it wasn't until his ACD, he shares his real life, personal, what he's been through as a child, what he's currently going through. And when you see someone that you admire and respect, and you just, because I don't know about you, but when I, growing up, when I see successful people, I would just see the end result. Oh, they were born into it. They're always like that, but you didn't see what they went through to get where they are. And AZD, oh my God, like you think you had it bad. So knowing that someone like him, who I admire and respect, went through what he did to do what he's doing now, oh, okay, I have this key, I have this tool that I can use that I can apply to myself. And it's not going to be easy. And I tell you what, it's going to be pretty uncomfortable and you're going to want to quit. But that's why I say keep showing up because I've learned that after seeing IMC Nation members come and go, do I call them men? I've actually reached out to some of them before I find out that they're no longer in IMC Nation. Like, what happened? And one of them here, I'm not going to mention his name, but we all know him. His reply was, oh, something about money, and I'm doing this on my own. I'm just thinking, like, I don't want to get into it, but I'm like, oh man, why do I laugh? Because I tried that and failed miserably. And I'm just like, okay, good luck. Keep showing up. Oh, wait, you don't anymore. So, peace. And phew, it's just amazing how you stop doing something for a while and then you try doing it again. And then it's kind of like, oh, damn. That's why I kept showing up because being live, having a camera on you, and just trying to talk and make sense and not worry about what people around you think. Try it. Let me know how it goes for you. But I tell you what, I'm putting all those thoughts and feelings off to the side because AZD wants me to be one of the 300. He wants me to do what he's doing. And who am I to be selfish and not put this out there? And you know what's funny, man? Oh, Kenny reminds me sharing this. I'm not going to share actually. I'm going to share once I turn the live off because that's only for IMC Nation members to know. We had our best meeting yet today, Kenny and I. It was just us two, Transmutation Ministry, over like the last couple of years since I started trying to go live, you know. And I told him I was just thinking like that's amazing because AZD his beast camps each month. And one thing that would get to me sometimes discourage me, oh, this one's better. Like last month was nothing yet. I'm changing. This one's gonna be even better. And I'm just like, oh my God, how's that even possible? And then I started attending them. And you know what? They are better. And that's what I told Kenny today. I'm like, look at this. Yes, we are live on YouTube. Sorry to start your message, PXO. Uh, and only Phoenix and I's picture is up right now, I believe, because you got your badass heart-looking devil thing. There you go. What was I saying? And that's what I told Kenny. I was like, what we've been going through, and it's like, this is what's going on in my mind. Am I ever gonna get better? You know, am I ever gonna get it? Am I ever gonna get out of the situation I put myself in where I just feel stuck, you know? And then I get a good opportunity, and then I self-sabotage, self-destruct because that's what I'm used to. And then going over there and then just feeling like I belong, like I fit in, feeling amazing. Oh my God, this is gonna happen back home. And then I crashed and I'm like, oh, what happened? I didn't do anything that I said I was gonna do. And then I look and I'm like, oh my God, I did do things that I said I was gonna do. I created a tribe out here. I'm providing a space for people who can safely express themselves freely with no judgment and possibly meet someone or find out what their life purpose is, as crazy as that sounds. AZD wants us to create a tribe. He wants us to bring people together. And if you're going to do it, make sure you do it right. And that's what IMC Nation is about. Now, I just totally forgot what I was going to say, and that's fine. If anyone has anything they'd like to say, I've only been live for maybe 10 minutes. I
Um,
wasn't going to
Yeah,
go.
I'll say something.
First of all, what I was going to say is once a week, I was going to sit with you before your BC live and do that process of tapping in with you. I was sitting with my son today going through the process. And for me, it's finding a vibrational frequency within myself I can express outwards. Finding a song that taps into a feeling or memory from the past and then projecting it into the present, holding on to it and then turning the volume up on that feeling. That's what I was pretty much practicing today. And I was showing my son how I can get like the hairs on my arm to stand on end and give myself goosebumps. I'm at that stage now of tapping in. And it's like, you know, when you can feel electricity or you get static electricity in your body and your body is electromagnetic. So if you can focus in on that feeling and then dial it up, milk it, focus in on it. Like we normally do is like with a bad feeling, we focus in on it, we dial it up by, you know, constantly thinking and reinforcing the feeling. Well, it's the same process that you're using when you're tapping in. There's a bit more to it, of course, but you know, the more and more you show up, and let's say show up, not just showing up to class, showing up like showing up within yourself, being present, that's when you really tap in. So I'll just drop the mic on that one.
Oh, and that's all you needed to say. I'm excited. And if anyone here would like to learn more, reach out to me or Phoenix or TXL because you know what? Ah, I'm trying to think of a good example. I never understood fraternities. Like one of my first attempts going to college, early 20s, I just thought it was just like rich, snobby kids or whatever that were just smart or had money and party. And then it wasn't until I actually had one in my squadron I was serving with who was actually a pretty cool guy and then invited me to be part of this fraternity. And I was like, oh wow, like interesting. Why? You got to pay a certain amount a month. And he was telling me the perks of it. It helps. I mean, just being in a tribe in IMC Nation right there says it enough. And I was just thinking, oh, okay, yeah. If you're not willing to invest a certain amount of money in yourself, and apply what you learn and do things, why would someone want to be your friend? Why would they want to be in a relationship with you? Why would they want to start a business with you? Why would they want to work with you? And so those of you listening, Phoenix, I had an amazing session with him last week and gonna have a few more. And that's another good thing about being in a tribe is that everyone brings something to the table. So let's say, okay, so the music events I'm putting on up here, I don't know anything about sound. I don't know anything about lights. All I would do is just drink and dance like an idiot at these events and then bug my friend who I would help set up equipment for. I just did the grunt work, for a couple of years. Please teach me how to DJ, teach me how to do this. Because I got sick of drinking and dancing like an idiot. And I was like, I want to do more. And then sure enough, he teaches me. Oh man, it was a magical night. I surprisingly got it down. Why? Probably because I wanted it so bad. And sometimes I'd actually dream about it and visualize myself doing it. And also watching him, who would he put in the work, he'd practice, and sometimes he'd be up all night, practicing, and got really good at it. And I did watch him. So I would play at a couple events here and there, but I just still wasn't. I didn't think I was good enough or applied myself. And I played at a festival when I came back home after a deployment, and had an amazing time and met some amazing people. And my friend who helped put on got screwed over, not by one but two people. Because why? Well, they were not part of the process. They were not part of something where if you promise that you're going to pay someone money and you don't, what does that do to them? What does that do to the relationship? What does that make you look like? And after seeing that happen to him, I'm like, you know what? This is not happening. We're going to throw our own event and we're going to do it right, get it in writing, sign a contract. And that's why I don't care. That's one good thing I learned about school and a couple situations I put myself in where I lost money. I don't care if they're my best friend, family member, whoever. If they're not going to sign the contract that we make a mutual agreement and I'm not going any further. And where's I going with that? Well, it was supposed to be one show for fun, turn into eight, 2 weekend festivals, and now we're throwing our biggest show yet at a venue where it's just amazing. And you know what? I wanted to give up after our like third show because I was just burnt out, overwhelmed. Like I couldn't sleep the night before we had an event. Just like even now, I have a hard time sleeping some nights before I have to DJ a wedding. Being the center of attention. I mean, this is a newlywed couple best night, best day and night of their life. And you can't make mistakes. Uh, And then everything I learned from AZD and going to beast camps and these VIP parties and all this money I invested, because I was really good at blowing money on these programs and events and seminars. And then I just wouldn't apply what I learned. And it was like shiny object syndrome. They call it having like too many pots on the oven, where it's just you're not focusing on one thing. And eventually I just reached a point where it's like, you know what? This isn't going to be easy, but I know it's going to be worth it. I'm going in. And where's it going with that? So that's why having the right tribe, being in the right tribe, because now that I'm doing this, I didn't want to show up and go live on Transmutation Ministry. But guess what? That would have let Kenny Simmons down. I didn't want to go live tonight. It got late. I kept coming up with excuses, but that would have let Phoenix and Trent down, and anyone else watching this. That would have let Captain Chris down. Everything he did for me, following up with me, and I'm just thinking like everything that he did for me, because it took me several times. Oh my God, look at that delivery. Oh man, food porn. Everything that Captain Chris did for me, he followed up with me several times. He saw that I think I liked and commented AZD's post on Instagram. So he just started messaging me, hey, what do you think of this? His lifestyle, what do you do? What do you want to do? Would you like to be my guest on Love Spell? I think before 2.0. Okay, yeah, I'll check it out. Yeah, oh, yeah, I like his videos. Oh, he goes live? I can watch him speaking live. And that was the thing. Like, I would have had access to the videos and website, but what I really wanted was to be able to sit there and watch him speak live. That was pretty much why I invested the $97 a month. Think of like what you spend your money on. For me, it was trips. Like I try to go on at least one trip a year, thousands of dollars. Phoenix is up. And then I'd go and I'd have fun, enjoy myself, but then I'd still just kind of feel the same, like, oh man, I thought I was gonna be like this. And so I started saving money, and that was another thing that AZD, another one of like the straw that broke the camel's back, is that he and is one of his free lives on Instagram, because I was a freeloader at the time. He's like, you're spending your money on other stuff. Why not invest it on yourself? And then one of his female followers, who eventually became a student, was thanking him, like sending him messages like, oh, thank you so much for what you do. You're helping me out so much. And he said, don't thank me, pay me. Because what happens if you give someone some advice, you teach them something that helps them so much, that changes their life, and they don't apply it or they don't do anything with it? To me, that's a big F you. So here I have this gift, IMC Nation, AZD process. And I never imagined in my life, I mean, looking at how much technology progressed, especially doing a live stream with like this phone that can record video and live stream to anyone across the world, like New Zealand, that's where Phoenix is, and talk about what I'm going through, being real and authentic and helping people. Because anyone that's hesitant or afraid of going live and doing this, reach out to me. One thing I do is that I ask IMC Nation members, and some come and go, some try to stay. Come on and do a live with me. QA, how you got started, where you want to be, what were you searching for on Google or YouTube, where you came across an AZD video, um, and then what made you decide like, okay, I want to join this, I want to be part of this group, and how has that changed your life? How has it improved you? Man, just thinking about that now makes me want to reach out to the guys that got out of IMC Nation and just check in, like, hey, no judgment, nothing wrong. I just want to check in and see how you're doing. Are you as successful as you thought you would be, without AZD and IMC Nation? Oh, I remember what I was going to say before. with Red Blooded Music Collective is a tribe that I helped create up here in Wisconsin, doing music events. Let's just say one of the founding members, Flo, is good with the lights, and another founding member, Jacob, is good with sound. I wouldn't be able to be doing these shows without them. If you don't have any sound or lights, the DJ is worthless. He's got nothing. And so you look at someone you want to go in business with and serve your passion. What does their process look like? How's the relationship with their significant other? What do they do in the morning? What do they do on the weekends? How's their attitude? And I tell you what, man, all I can say is that do what's hard. Stop putting it off because I still go through it. Another thing that helps, and if you think cold showers are bad where you are, try doing it in Wisconsin or somewhere where it's super cold. I always hesitate. I just think I'm like looking in the mirror or fixing something or cleaning something. I'm always putting something off, because I know I'm about to go into that cold water and how it's gonna feel. But I tell you what, when you have that cold water on your back, especially like I like putting it over my back and neck. I'm not thinking about what I'm going through or what's wrong, and it wakes you up and you just feel energized. I'm getting chills right now. And if you do that first thing in the morning, whatever you come across during your day is gonna be easy. So with that, so the next time you want to give up, remember why you started. Write it down, put it in your notes, give yourself a reminder every day. I have my calendar that actually goes off a couple times a day just to remind myself why I keep showing up and why I got started. And then I go live, especially when I don't want to. And then I have an amazing conversation like I did earlier today with Kenny Simmons, who reminded me why I started. And I'm just thinking like, wow. And guess what? He's doing it too. The guy who I inspired, like I think he was one of my first followers on Instagram that was liking my stuff. One of the first members that joined my Telegram group that I created Beyond Clarity. I didn't even know who he was because there's so many members of IMC Nation. I wasn't paying attention. I'm like, whoa, you're the guy that was following me and liking my stuff. And I asked him like, why? And he told me, and I'm like, oh man, we're really similar. We're kind of going through the same thing. Okay, what can we do here? How can we help each other? And guess what? He's doing what I'm doing now. Those 3 months when I didn't want to show up, and I promised him like, okay, we're gonna start this group together and we're gonna go live once a week. And then guess what? I stopped doing it. I stopped showing up, and he started doing it. And it's just someone drops the torch, and your brother's got your back. He'll pick it up, and then he'll pick you up and remind you why you started. Oh, so that's it. I ended up going longer than I thought I did. And yeah, one last thing. Show up for yourself, show up for others, keep showing up. See you next Sunday.